Beautiful Anonymous is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Hello to everybody who has a lot to explain on first dates. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour. One phone call. No names. No holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. If you're somebody who doesn't love an intro, I get it. Skip about 4 minutes. You'll be right towards the beginning of the call. Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. And I have to thank everybody who's been supporting Beautiful Anonymous. I go to the post office every day and send out copies of fanzines. And I feel genuinely so good about it. I've been thinking a lot lately about how all art is becoming disposable and how that fanzine is going to sit next to people's toilets. Or maybe on the nightstand in your guest room. Or under a pile of papers on your counter where you forgot you put it. Either way, it's a thing that exists. And you can't just forget about it when the algorithm moves on. I'm starting to think that physical media is going to become one of the more important things that artists can do to stay connected to people who support their work. And if you put in the work to try to make something good and cool, and that is a thing that can live on and people can touch, and it's a tactile reminder of the fact that these things exist and build communities, then that's beautiful. And I really love that little magazine, and the color copies are just about sold out. Thanks to everybody who's been buying them at chrisgethard.bigcartel.com or chrisgethard.bigcartel.com. I don't even know the name of the thing that I send you to buy it. We're honestly just about sold out of the color copies. So many black and white copies left. If anybody wants to buy like 50 or 100 of those in one pop, I'll ship you a whole box. Let's make a deal. More importantly than the stuff I'm plugging, though, this week, I do want to plug that our old caller, our friend Heidi, who has been on the show a few times, who was at Beautiful Anonymous, and who was the caller in the call titled Love is Everywhere, episode 69 of the show. Probably the episode of the show that hit me in the gut the hardest. The one that in many ways I am the most proud to have ever platformed. The one that I regret so much was episode 69 of the show. That is my luck. The caller from Love is Everywhere, she wrote a book, and she did not ask me to plug it on Beautiful Anonymous, but of course I'm going to. The book is called Love is Everywhere. You will see. If you do a simple Google search on Love is Everywhere, you will see. Comes up right away. It's written by our friend Heidi Bruno, and I read an early draft of the book, and it's gut-wrenching and beautiful and eye-opening, and I hope everybody checks it out. I mean that sincerely. The only other thing I want to plug is that I've been doing this new variety show called That Show, hosted by Chris Gethard. It's become a really lovely monthly thing in my life. You can always watch the streaming tickets. The next one is on June 25th, and the streaming tickets are always fun. We work hard to make that stream good, but this is the first one we haven't sold out in New York City. Usually we announce the show and the tickets just go. This time they've stalled out a little bit, which is fine. It happens. I'm not stressing out. Do I sound like I'm stressing out? I'm not. But if you're in the New York City area on June 25th, the show features some real great people. Kenise Mobley, Stephen Castillo is one of the absolute original voices in comedy. Dylan Adler is such a sweetheart, so funny, and does backflips. And then Ethan and Gigi, the anti-fascist clowns. We've got, someone's just randomly walking. I'm renting an office. Someone's just randomly walking inside everybody. Did you hear that? This is my life. This is my life as I'm paying money to try to work. Anyway, And of course, what a funny guy, what funny twosome to have not mentioned yet. As I am interrupted in the intro itself, we've got a strongman clown named Mike Weiss who lifts cinder blocks with his teeth, and Anthony Atemanik co-hosting as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. If you're gonna get interrupted and have two live on an island, it's those two. But again, those tickets you can get at ucbcomedy.com or punchup.live/Chris Gethard. That's all the plugs. I'm so happy to tell you about this week's episode. It is delightful. Our caller, I don't know what to say, except that I had so much fun. We recorded this one really late at night. I was super exhausted compared to usual. I think you're all going to hear that instantly, that I am loose in a way I am generally not when we're recording in the chill daytime hours. That leads to me being a little loose, but also this caller is just kind of delightfully unique, delightfully specific, and delightfully attached to a pet lizard who sounds amazing. And sometimes you don't need to think too hard. Sometimes you don't need to say too much. This caller's cool. Lizard's even cooler. No offense to the caller. You know it. I know it. Anyway, enjoy this one, everybody. I know I did.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, is this Chris?
Yes, it is. Hello. And you and I are talking at 9 p.m. Eastern on a Friday. Everybody tells us, hey, stop recording exclusively during work hours. We said, okay. And this is you. You're talking to me late at night on a weekend.
Yeah, much appreciated. I'm also on Eastern time. So, yeah, not work hours for me, which is good. I was not expecting to roll past and see the post tonight and actually call and get on. So that was wild. I never try calling. So I'm super excited to be talking to you tonight. A little nervous too.
No need to be nervous. We are good to go. I've been up since 5:30 a.m. So I'm loose. Feeling good.
Yeah.
I've attended a kindergarten field day today and a kindergarten graduation party and had a play date at my house. And I am tired and loose. So you're good to go.
Yeah, that is crazy. I used to teach first grade, so I've been on the field
you know
trip
where I'm at.
before.
You know where I'm at. Well, we're at
I know where I'm at, except I always get to go home without any kids.
It wasn't even a field trip. I wish it was a field trip. It was field day where the kids participate in athletic contests.
Yeah.
The kids participate in athletic contests, throw water balloons at each other in the parking lot of the school and scream as loud as they can. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting.
Yeah. So, does that mean school's out?
We're like a week away.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
school just ended where I'm at, which is, I'm not a teacher anymore, but it's nice because I live next to the school, so I don't have to wait in carpool to get to my house in the mornings anymore, which is very nice.
So did you burn out? You burnt out on the teaching?
Yeah, I had a pretty toxic administration my last year. I was like the 7th teacher in that school to leave mid-year. So I'm much happier now and make better money. I miss the kids, but I also have more time for my other passion, writing. I'm writing a novel right now. So that's awesome. Been nice to shift my focus.
That's awesome. A novelist.
Yeah.
No more teaching, no more giving of yourself and all of your time to others.
No, and I have been volunteering with kids, which is nice, again, because then it's much more low stakes and it's very fun stuff. And then I get to go home and just volunteer when I've got the chance. So
I love that. So you get to still feel like a good person, using your skill set to help children, help others, but you're also going to sleep in once in a while. You're going to sleep in. You're not going to deal with all the paperwork. You're not going to deal with the test scores. You're not going to deal with the very rigid state definition of bullying. You're not going to deal with the federal government yanking support dollars out of the education system and schools not even knowing what budgets they have at any given moment. And you're going to write your novel and you're going to get yours. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And you didn't even list half of the crazy things.
What's the worst? I imagine there's so many fulfilling and beautiful parts of being a teacher. I don't want to dwell on the negative. It's cliche. Like it is an incredible profession and people change lives. That being said, you're out. What's the worst part of being a teacher?
The worst part, I mean, I think for me, what ultimately made me leave, that was it. Partly my administration was just when a parent had a problem with, if your administration wasn't taking your side and they were coming and attacking you too, it just can feel very lonely, even though you've got a classroom full of kids that adore you, you know, when your back's against the wall and you've done nothing really wrong, but someone just thinks you have, it can be really lonely.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. Getting the squeeze from all directions. I'll say this. Anybody who argues that teachers need more money, I sit here and I go, you wake up that early and hang out with other people's kids all day. And tell me if you need, if all the job description was you have to get to work by 6 fucking a.m. and hang out all day with other people's children. Right there, you'd go, give me $1 million a year minimum to do that every day.
Yeah. And, lots of kids too. I would go even earlier too, because I did the before school program to make extra money so that I could afford to live. So yeah, it was always busy, but yeah, I've been out of it for about 3 years now. So it's been a little bit.
Nice. Now you volunteer. Yeah. You mentioned you're writing a novel.
Yes.
I've written some books, so I know that they kind of go one of two ways, and one is more common than the other. Sometimes you get an advance, and you can live off that advance while you work, and it's kind of up to you to be smart about how you're spending that money and getting that novel written. More often than not, especially with novels, you write it on spec, i.e. for free, and then you pitch it around. Which situation are you in?
Yeah, so I'm actually working full time. I'm writing curriculum now, and then I'm writing my book in my free time. So yeah, definitely just writing the book and then hoping for, the best when I pitch it around later. But I'm also just really genuinely enjoying my story and enjoying the process of writing it. I'm not sure if this first book that I write is going to be the one that gets published first, but I'm just having a really good time with it. And so I'm honestly trying not to think about the next steps while I'm still just drafting.
That's the perfect attitude. If you're sitting here going, I'm loving these characters, I'm surprising myself with this story, I'm enjoying the process of trying to put these puzzle pieces together, then take them back apart, put them together again, see what I have. If you're getting joy out of that, boom. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been really a shocking experience because I thought at the start, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plan out all of the plot points. I'm going to have it all outlined, everything set. So I spend a month doing that. And then, 10 chapters in, pretty much half of that is irrelevant anymore because the characters just developed in a different way than I thought. It's a much better story now, but I have much less plan. So I have to think a little bit harder when I'm actually writing.
Have you let anyone read the novel as it stands now?
No, not at all. My animals have heard me read it aloud at times, but no humans.
You have.
I do have.
You have animals that listen to it.
Yeah. Yes, I have 3 pets. All of them were surprises, but I love them.
What kind of surprises?
Well, one was a birthday gift. That's my bearded dragon. And then I have 2 cats whose lives I saved. So then they were suddenly mine.
No, I have to follow up. Someone gave you a live lizard as a birthday present?
It was my parents who had known that I had wanted one since I was a kid. It wasn't just a random friend.
Because I'm just going to say this. Hearing that you had a lifelong desire to have a bearded dragon and that your parents came through on that, that's different. Because I'm just going to say, if anyone ever gave me a surprise live animal for a gift, I would never speak to that person again.
Yeah, I think ethically it's not the best thing to do if you don't know the person's gonna commit to the animal. Yeah.
I once had
and I.
Oh, and what?
I know you have a dog now, which was reluctant, I think.
Oh,
but.
God. Okay, a few things. One, I'll say this. My old friend JD, who was like my right-hand person on my old TV show, we had the keys to each other's house. Like, that's how close we were. Like, yeah, you keep my spare keys, I keep your spare keys, because we see each other all the time. And there was a point where me and some other friends, he was out of town, and we were going to buy a ferret, leave a ferret in his house, and force him into a situation where we were just like, what's a high maintenance, hard to care for live animal that you would not want to come home to as a single person living in your apartment in New York City? Yeah. You don't want a surprise ferret. And then so I will say that. And then also this dog, I'll put this out here. I did not want a dog. And then about a week or so ago, the dog was acting not like himself at night. And then we woke up the next morning and his one paw was all curled up to his chest and he wasn't eating and he seemed very sad and very sedate. And he's kind of a dopey, all over the place energy. And we realized something was really wrong. And then Hallie was going, the vet doesn't open until 9. I think I really like his vet. I'm just going to wait till 9 and call the vet. And I'm going, no, we got to take him to the animal hospital right now. And he's fine, everybody. He had something, they don't know if it was like a bee sting or like a thorn from a plant, but there was something in his paw and the vet managed to take it out and then lost it. So they couldn't even examine what had kind of gotten in there and stabbed his poor little paw. And then they put him on antihistamines like doggy Benadryl, and he was out of it all day. And he's doing so much better now. But I said out loud to my wife, I never wanted a dog. And I don't want to sit here and feel like this thing that I love now is in pain. And I was so mad at Hallie. I was like, this is why I didn't want to invite this into my life. I didn't want to I have so much fear in the world right now. I don't have, having more to love means having more to lose. God damn it.
Yeah. Yes.
But that's how you feel about your bearded dragon. That's usually paywall content, everybody.
Yeah. Well, actually, my bearded dragon is also disabled and elderly. So
you have a disabled?
I have
bearded dragon. In what way?
So he he has kidney disease, and he also doesn't use his back legs to walk anymore. He's got some sort of growth in his abdomen, but the only way to find out what it is to operate, and he can't do that at his age. So essentially, he lives a very happy life, but he's on 3 different medications.
A bearded dragon.
I have... It's all the same medications that we get prescribed as humans for the same conditions, though, as well. Fun fact. Just
is this something you have
different.
Insurance for, or is this care out of pocket?
This is out of pocket. It is out of pocket now, and I had to rearrange his furniture just like you would do like for a person who can't walk anymore, and I got a pet camera just so that when I'm like away from home, sometimes he'll fall onto his back and he's not strong enough anymore to flip himself back over. So like I have a camera, and every time I'm hanging around with people, I let them know like, hey, I'm checking my camera, my phone every so often. If he has fallen, I'm going to give you no notice. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go home and help him. And I had to leave jury duty to help him once.
You left
year.
Jury duty to go home and flip over a disabled lizard?
Yeah, they told me that if I didn't get back before they called my name, I would be held in contempt of court. But luckily, I got back to the courthouse, and then 30 minutes later, they called my name.
Hold on.
So I was okay. But
so you have this is an app on your phone where you can check the lizard cam?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's on it, he or she?
He.
You realize he's on his back. He's struggling. He's scared. He's overwhelmed. Music swells. Mm-hmm. In your mind, there's like a soundtrack to this. You realize you might be held in contempt of court. You sprint out the door to your car, and it's like the soundtrack to Last of the Mohicans is playing in your mind, like and you get home in time, just flip him over, and then like grab a seltzer from your fridge and run back to the car.
That's pretty much what happened. I did stay to reassure him and make sure that he was in a good spot so that hopefully he was comfortable enough and wouldn't immediately flip over again. But usually he doesn't, because he's pretty upset from the first flip over. So
you have actual affection. You have actual love, you might say, for this bearded dragon.
I do. I love him so, so much. I had to overcome my greatest fear for him too before we knew what was wrong with him. He was just like really uncomfortable all the time. So we were giving him antibiotics just to try to fight whatever was going on. But the only way to do that for a bearded dragon is through an injection, like a shot. And I pass out so much as like seeing needles on TV. I have like passed out and woken up. And so I had to get over it because I had to give him a shot every other day for like 3 months. And you have to like aim between the scales to give him the shot. So you have to be steady. And it was crazy, and we both hated it. But now we know what's going on in his current medicine. No needles involved.
Now, can I just ask you on a personal level, can I ask what your love life is like?
This seems like a good time to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with the conversation. Believe me, it'll just be after this.
This episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you, plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. IQBAR's plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to help keep you physically and mentally fit. IQBAR is totally free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners for a natural, anytime snack. And there's so many great flavors and over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting. There's more people than ever starting their days on the right foot with IQBAR's brain and body-boosting bars, not to mention their hydration mixes and mushroom coffees. I can tell you so genuinely, my wife has the IQ Joe coffees almost every single day. I generally have at least one IQBAR a day, usually more. I usually have an IQBAR for breakfast and then sometimes as a little snack if I feel the energy lagging throughout the day. And the IQ mix I've just come to rely on. It's a pretty much a daily drink for me. There is absolutely no reason I would lie to you about this. They are just good products that I greatly enjoy and liberally partake in. And right now, IQBAR is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQBAR products, plus you get free shipping. You want to get 20% off? Text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. That's the word beautiful to 64000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Warby Parker has changed the experience of getting glasses for the better. And I can tell you, I'm somebody who started wearing glasses in 3rd grade. That's a long time ago. It's decades I've been wearing glasses. It's never been an easy process. It was always stressful. Stressful in any number of directions. They managed to make it everything except pleasant and easy, except these days, because Warby Parker has done just that. The ease of using Warby Parker is incredible. It's the first thing I want to tell you about. You can get your eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, eye exams through Warby Parker. You can shop online. You can shop at home. You can go to stores. There's over 270 retail locations across the US and Canada where you can get styled by one of their friendly expert advisors. And let's talk about the affordability, because I have spent so much money on glasses in my lifetime and always had this sneaking suspicion from the age of 8 that I was being price gouged. Even before I understood the phrase price gouging, I was pretty sure that's what was going on with me. Then you can find these other places where you go and you order them and they're like 95 cents and they fall apart in 10 minutes. And that's stressful in the other direction. You want a product where you know there's thought, there's care being put into this. It's fair, it's reasonable. No one's taking advantage of you. Warby Parker has your back. Their glasses start at $95 and include prescription lenses with anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Many Warby Parker locations offer comprehensive eye exams starting at $85. Add a pair and save 15% when you purchase 2 or more prescription pairs of glasses or sunglasses. This offer is available both at home and in stores. They have free shipping. They have free 30-day returns. And as I said, the Warby Parker experience, they have made so easy. They have removed the stress. I have felt my whole life that glasses shopping is an industry that preys upon the anxiety and stress it creates. Not only does Warby Parker not do that, it seems that their whole business model is based on removing that anxiety and stress and treating you, the consumer, fairly. And I can say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that, Warby Parker. And then on top of it, everybody, the glasses just look good too. Warby Parker has over 270 locations to help you find your next pair of glasses. You can also head over to warbyparker.com/beautiful right now. Try on any pair virtually. That's Warby, WARBY, Parker.com/beautiful. warbyparker.com/beautiful. Thanks to all the advertisers that allowed the show to happen. Now let's get back to the phone call. Can I just ask you on a personal level, can I ask what your love life is like?
Oh no. So I mean, I pretty much, it's not there.
Do you think part of it being not there is that every time you meet someone who might be an interested partner, you have to explain to them that you have an obsessive love of a bearded dragon?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going on a first date tomorrow, and I did have to give him a disclaimer that I was like, hey, you know, I'm excited, blah, 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 but like, you know, if my bearded dragon falls, I have to leave and go, and it's not about you. I just have to save him.
Is this someone you met on the apps or someone you know already in real life?
No, it's an apps person. I'm just dipping my toe in. I haven't done much dating. This will be the second first date I've gone on this calendar year.
Can I give one small piece of advice? And at the end of the day, who am I? Throw it out if you have to.
Yes.
Don't bring up the bearded dragon before the first date. Do not do it. Don't tell someone that you will have to run out.
pictures on my profile.
I think that needs to be an in-person conversation so you can be giggling and charming about it. But you can't send someone a message pre-first date that's like, so just so you know, I inject a bearded dragon with failing kidneys, and before you even meet me, one thing you should know is that's my priority, is that I might need to run home and flip over a lizard in duress. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that cybernetically. That can only happen in person. It's actually, I think, probably very funny and charming. If you're like, so, hi, nice to meet you. Weird thing about me, I've got a sick pet I'm keeping an eye on, and it happens to be a lizard, but I keep an eye on it, and if I get an alert, I gotta go. Like, that's charming in person. And a message beforehand on the app, I feel like you're inviting anyone receiving that message to just go like, all right, what am I getting into here?
Yeah, definitely heard. It's tough out there, no matter what.
It is, and I also want you to know too, all of this is coming from a genuine desire to help. None of it's coming from judgment. You are speaking to someone who, when I was single and was dating, there were so many things I needed to explain to people. So many. Like, if you Google my name, you will instantly find videos of me on public access television, like with my shirt off, getting wax stripped on me by a dominatrix. Like, hey, so I'm a comedian, but the comedy I've done, it's a little specific. It's not exactly like me with my witty observations about airplane food. I've done some weird things. They're out there. So I had to navigate, no offense, being kind of a weirdo in the dating world.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you are beyond this, but I will say your relationship to this bearded dragon at the very least does qualify you as a weirdo on some level. And I say that without judgment.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely know, and I definitely own it. I am also autistic, and I've definitely the weirdo on multiple levels, but I do my best to own it through everything. But that is a good point, because I don't typically tell a date that I'm autistic until we're in person, because I want their genuine reaction to that, because it gives you a lot of information.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same about your relationship with the bearded dragon. I would say, and I'm being half facetious here, can't help but wonder if your relationship to the bearded dragon ties into autism on some level.
Yeah. Oh, I think my relationship with all of the animals I encounter definitely is a factor in there. Yeah.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. I love it. And you said this first date is tomorrow?
It is. Yeah. We're going on a hike.
A hike. That's a good first date. That's a quality first date.
It is a good first date, but I don't mind staying where I'm at. I am in Florida, and it is very hot.
Oh, that's
currently.
A bad first date.
So there's things to navigate for sure.
That's a bad first date.
But
it went from a great, and I was like, ooh, in the Northeast right now, great first date. In muggy, swampy ass, mosquito riddled Florida.
It's really hot here. Yeah.
And I've been on a lot of hikes in Florida, and there's a lot of beautiful stuff to see. But I'll say that, I've been on, like, I'll visit my parents around the holidays, and we'll go on hikes in December and January, and you can get a little sweaty and gamey then, let alone now as we're recording this in early June.
We just get we only get like 1 week of winter, though we had, a little bit more this year. And the rest is, pretty warm. Summer in particular. I've lived here for 9 years, but I've only spent 3 summers here, so I'm still not used to it.
Wait, explain that. Where do you go? Did you say where you go in the summers?
No, so when I was a teacher in the summers, I used to then live and work at a camp in North Carolina in the mountains.
Oh,
so it was
see, that's perfect.
much cooler there during the summer and beautiful. But now I'm not a teacher, so I can't work a summer job.
Andrea also has asked me to relay to you that you should not go into the woods with a stranger on a first date. Andrea is not comfortable with this.
That is true. I am taking him on a trail that I go on often, and there's lots of people there, and I know it very well.
Good. Quality.
So I feel safe there.
You've thought about this. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's good. So it was you determined the nature of the hiking date.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
That was my choice. Mm-hmm. I work, I like being outside. I work in front of a computer all day. So if I can be outside, I'm going to be outside.
I love that. I hope that first date goes well. Yeah. Have you ever met someone in a romantic context who loves bearded dragons as much as you do?
Not yet. But when I've taken Charlie to the farmer's market, we do meet lots of other people. Oh, yes, I did say his name, which is
Charlie's the name of the bearded dragon, and Charlie gets to go to the farmer's market?
Yeah. And we meet other bearded dragon owners who stumble upon us too. And they have equal love as well.
I bet.
Generally.
I have to imagine you're going to meet, I don't even know why I'm saying this. It just feels true. Farmers market in Florida, highest per capita percentage of people who own and love bearded dragons than you're going to find anywhere else in the United States.
I think that's true. And also not just like bearded dragons, but we'll go to the farmer's market and I'll see someone with a monkey and I'll see someone with a macaw and there's
see some asshole with a top hat and a python.
Snake.
Some asshole with a top hat and a python, right? You said snake as I said python.
Yeah.
And he's charming, but kind of an asshole. And he's got like a Alice in Wonderland style top hat and a python.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I respect it.
Yeah. Right now he's snoozing though, which is good. He's the show Game of Thrones.
I'm familiar.
Everyone knows that show.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. I bought him a bed that's like the shell of it is like a dragon's egg from the show, and then he's got like cushions and pillows and stuff in there. So he's pretty adorable.
I just want to make sure I heard you correct that your bearded dragon Charlie, who can no longer use his hind legs, sleeps in a dragon egg from Game of Thrones?
Yes. Yep. He does. He's very spoiled. I have to put him in the bed now. And then he'll kind of like situate himself with his front legs because he can still drag himself. It's just, that's how he flips over too sometimes.
Can I ask something very genuinely?
Yes.
As a dog owner, one thing that I'm aware of is that you fall in love with a dog, but you do see dog owners who hang on way too long, and you realize that euthanizing an animal can be a kindness.
Yes.
Have we thought about with Charlie, the immobilized bearded dragon with kidney issues who you have to inject? At what point does one say, Charlie, you've been the greatest bearded dragon I know, and I understand it's a kindness to let you go? I'm not saying it's now, but I imagine you've thought about it.
I've absolutely thought about it. I grew up with dogs and cats mostly, and I've unfortunately been through the process of losing a pet and deciding when it's time many times, except I've never been the one to decide. It's always been, the family pet. This is the first one that's on me. But I did create a list of just what to look for, essentially. And also, we go to the vet every 6 months, and I know the vet's going to tell me when it's time, and I'm going to accept what the vet says. I've also planned grief activities because I know I'm going to be a mess, but I'm trying to come to terms with it also before the fact and just try to do my best to take care of myself once, he does have to leave me.
I want to just make sure that I heard what you said correctly there. Sounded to me like you said you've already begun planning activities you will partake in to help overcome the sadness after your disabled bearded dragon passes away. Did I hear that correctly?
You did, yeah.
Am I allowed to know any of these activities you're planning, or are those too private? It's okay if they are.
No, I mean, you can definitely know some. So one of them is I'm just going to print out a bunch of photos of our memories together and kind of put a collage together on his tank and let that serve as a memorial for a while. And, until I'm ready for someone else to move into that tank. Plan to watch some favorite movies that make you cry but are also good. So
are these movies that you like or Charlie likes, or both?
Both. He likes to at night when he's falling asleep, I'll sit and watch a movie with him and he'll fall asleep on my chest, and then I put him in the bed after he falls asleep. So he always falls asleep during movies. So
just
maybe
like
my favorite.
Me. Just like me. Yeah. I can't get through a movie on the couch these days. Me and Charlie the Bearded Dragon. Something we have in common.
You have something in common. Yeah.
So some of the favorite movies, a memorialized tank. I like all these, but you're really buckled up for this. This is not a joke. This will majorly affect you on an emotional level.
It really will. I've had him for 10 years. He's going to be 11 in October. He's been around for a long time. He moved down to Florida with me. When I moved down here, I didn't bring hardly any of my own stuff because I just had his tank, and his stuff took up most of the room, and I just slept on an air mattress.
Wait, his tank takes up most of a room?
Well, when I was in my apartment, but he took up all of the space in my car, so that was all I could fit. Yeah, with his stuff, and then some of mine.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we've upgraded to an even bigger tank that doesn't actually fit in my car. So we're doing much better now. I have a house and he's got a bigger house.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I get a good sense of your life. You've taught, you've done your part, you're writing, you love your animals, you're kind of delightfully eccentric. I like this. I like all of this.
We're going to pause this call. I hope you're enjoying it, but in the meantime, I've got some things to tell you about some of the lovely sponsors that help make this show happen.
Nobody wants to think about hair. You want your hair you want to wake up and roll out of bed with your hair bouncing at its most stylish and beautiful. Nobody wants to think about thinning hair, but it happens to all of us as we get older. Again, you don't want to deal with it, but actually doing something about it, that can be stressful. There's so many products out there. It can be confusing on what actually works. Enter Hers Hair. Hers hair treatments are made with doctor-trusted prescription ingredients that many other hair products out there don't have. They come in a variety of options, including oral and topical solutions, so you can find the one that works for you. They even have options with added hair vitamins and supplements for extra support. Getting started is simple with a quick online hair quiz. Just answer some questions and you'll be connected with a provider to discuss your personalized treatment plan. Through hers, everything's 100% online, so no pharmacy trips, doctor's office visits, no insurance required. Treatments start at just $35 a month. The best part is you get thicker, fuller, healthier hair. You start seeing regrowth in as little as 3 to 6 months. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/beautiful. That's FORHERS.com/beautiful for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Forhers.com/beautiful. Individual results may vary. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescriptions required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. I'm not a very trendy person. I'm not somebody who chases down the trends. I'm very big on clothes that feel good and last a long time. It's why I have found myself so blown away by Quince. They have lightweight layers. They have high quality staples. And I'm telling you, you can get really high quality stuff that's just going to become your everyday essentials through Quince. It's a great company. Quince has all the things you actually want to wear this summer, like organic cotton silk polos, European linen beach shorts, and comfortable pants that work for everything from backyard hangs to nice dinners. The best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markups. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I think that's so huge. Spending your money at companies that have committed to having a sense of ethics. It's a really beautiful, simple thing. I wear Quince all the time. I love it. Hallie orders from Quince all the time, and I can't get enough of it. I was wearing one of my Quince sweaters just the other day, and I immediately got compliments on it, as I always do. Quince has really changed the game in terms of how I think about clothes. And I love knowing that I can just go straight to Quince and I don't need to think too hard about it. They're doing it the right way. They make great stuff. Stick to the staples that last with elevated essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. You'll get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call. I like this. I like all of this.
Yeah. You know, I just try to have fun, honestly. Just trying to have a good time while I'm here.
I like that.
I've been returning to a lot of like childhood favorite things.
Like what?
Too, recently.
What's that?
Every you know, not every kid's a dinosaur kid, but I was a dinosaur kid. And I've just been doing volunteer paleontology in the spring and fall, and that's been so fun. And I didn't know you could do that until I knew, and then I did it, and it's great.
I didn't know you could do that either. How does one just volunteer as a paleontologist? I thought you needed a degree to do that.
No, because, you know, paleontologists who are doing the research work, they have a lot of papers, right? You know, they've got a lot of other things to do than sit and dig in the dirt all day, though there's always paleontologists at the digs. But yeah, they just do a call out for volunteers in the spring and then again in the fall at a dig site here in Florida. And I sign up and I go and I dig in the dirt. Sometimes I find a lot. Sometimes I find almost nothing. I've never found actually nothing. And it's not most people's idea of fun because it's just literally sitting and digging with a screwdriver for hours, but it's really enjoyable because then you sometimes find something. Yeah.
It is when you put it like that, when it's like, man, I think you need a degree for that. And then when you go, you know, the paleontologists often have other stuff to do besides the digging. I'm going, but that's all the fun part. And then when you say, no, you sit for hours with a screwdriver chipping away at hardened dirt and rock. I go, yeah, when you put it like that,
Yeah.
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I've when the season is on, I do it once a month, so I'm not there constantly. I think that I would get tired of doing it every day, all day, but like, yeah, it is enjoyable to go and do here and there, and it's really cool to get to see, a fossil that no human eyes has ever been on before.
Have you ever discovered a fossil that the paleontologists were like, yo, this is huge for us?
Nope. I have found turtle on just about every dig that I've been on. And yeah, pretty much turtles and fish and stuff. I still love it, but yeah, I've never found anything groundbreaking, though I've been there when something groundbreaking is being dug up next to me.
Oh, what was that?
My first dig, actually, that I went on, somebody was uncovering a juvenile Gomphothere jaw, and it had like the 2 rows of teeth intact, which was, I didn't even know what a Gomphothere was at that point. You probably don't know. Do you know?
I don't know. Like, break it down. Let's break it down.
Yeah, it's a prehistoric type of like elephant that lived here in Florida, that walked here, and there's just we've found a lot of their bones here in Florida, but this one was just cool because it had the double teeth, but they have like 2 sets of tusks. I'm not a professional paleontologist, so I don't have much more information than that, but it's really cool.
I like it. I like your life that you're describing.
Yeah. I like my life too. I'm having a good one, which is also why dating is hard, because I feel very fulfilled.
Yeah, why break up the party? Why break up the party with some annoying partner who's going to have needs and offer speed bumps between you and your bearded dragon, your living lizard, and the lizards of millennia past? Some partners just going to come around and muck the whole thing up.
Exactly.
Have you ever broken up with someone because of Charlie the bearded dragon?
No. Though I did when I first moved to Florida, I was staying with a friend who said she was fine with me and Charlie staying there, and then changed her mind very quickly, and I had to like find a motel in the middle of the night because she wanted to put him in a closet, and I wasn't okay with that. So not a guy, but like a friend breakup sort of happened due to him.
I don't want to.
Was little.
I don't mean to laugh because it sounds sad, but that does presuppose that there is something about Charlie so disturbing that a person who had previously agreed to his presence turned around and was like, nah.
Well, and I will say it's probably something that most people don't like, but it is a fact of my life. But like, I have to have his bugs in the fridge or the pantry, or, like I have to house bugs for him to eat. That's his food.
So it was less Charlie that freaked the friend out and more, you always had a bunch of
the bugs,
a bunch of crickets around.
Yeah. They're all contained, but
are they living when you get them?
They're there. Yes, because Charlie loves to hunt. If I put a dead cricket in front of him, he's going to look at me like, what the fuck is that? I don't want that. But a live one, absolutely. He's gung-ho. He loves them. I have to help him now, but he loves them.
I will say that while it sounds like perhaps your friend should have asked a few more questions on the way in, I don't fault a person who's like, I actually am having some second thoughts about the disabled lizard and dozens of live crickets in my house.
Right. And I will say he was not disabled at that point. He was young
Okay.
and spry.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I also don't fault someone for not wanting bugs in the house, which is why I've lived alone for all of the years since. I think it's been 10 years I've lived alone now. But, you know, it was the way it was communicated and done that was not great.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound pleasant. You mentioned you live next to the school. Do you live next to the school you used to teach at?
No, I live next to a high school. I used to teach at an elementary school. There's just schools everywhere.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different school.
That's fair. But you still get to hear the school bell and hear the children entering and exiting and just quietly smile to yourself and say, no longer my fucking problem.
Yes, except this past year. This was funny, and I don't fault them for this. I think this is actually really clever. But, you know, a lot of kids walk past my house to get to and from school. And it was the day after Halloween, and I'm working and I get a knock at my door and I'm like, okay, who's this? So I go and I answer the door, and it's 3 high school kids saying trick or treat for the leftover candy that I had from the night before. So I gave them some and kept some for myself still. But yeah.
That's bold. That's bold of those kids.
It's bold, but I was like, yeah, I do have leftover candy, so why not? It's fine.
Okay. I guess that's fair.
Yeah. A lot of the kids in the neighborhood, I do, you know, walk Charlie around too, and a lot of them will be on a walk and they'll be like, Charlie! They don't know my name, but they know him and they like to come and pet him and stuff. So he's known around the neighborhood, and I think they know my face, at least.
So that does tell me, I mean, if he's known and you're not, he's
an extrovert.
I was just going to say, like, he's the celebrity and you're the lizard girl. You're probably known as lizard girl to a lot of people in your sphere.
Yeah. For sure. Definitely not known by my name. And if I go on a walk and he's not with me, they're like, where's Charlie? Yeah.
That's a good place to be. Proud lizard girl.
I am. Yeah.
What else do I need to know?
What else to know?
Family.
Well,
where's the family? Not in Florida?
No. I grew up in the Midwest. My parents are still up there. My siblings, I have an older sister and a younger sister. They've spread out too. So we've all gone around places. We don't see each other here and there. But I have a great aunt and a great uncle here in Florida that I didn't meet until I moved here. But other than that, I don't have family here, but good community. So I don't feel lonely ever. It's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you too, I think it's a journey I'm almost over, but when Charlie was first getting sick, I also suddenly broke my ankle in a really rare way and actually walked on it for like 4 months before we knew it was broken.
You say and rare
at the
way.
same time,
what does that mean?
Yeah. I was bouldering. Do you know what bouldering is?
Like rock climbing?
Yeah. Yeah. But like only up to a certain height and without the ropes. And essentially I fell from like 8 feet up, and the next day I got x-rays and they didn't see anything broken or whatever. So I was just in a boot for a week, and then they called it a high ankle sprain, and I tried to get better, but 4 months later, the pain was essentially just as severe as the first day. So they did it. And actually, you tie into this story. I've just remembered. Because
you breaking your ankle?
I was, you do. You tie into it. Because I went to the beautiful Canonimus. I was helping with the English muffins.
You were. You helped distribute the English muffins at the beautiful con?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It was super fun, but like I had a broken ankle at that time and I didn't know it. I, e-biked and walked all around the city on a broken ankle, but my MRI appointment was the morning I got back home from that. So yeah, just you tie in. My ankle was broken when I talked to you or saw you last, and then essentially they got the MRI results in, and my doctor said, you need to stop walking yesterday. You've screwed this up. Like, you're going to be off of it for 2 months.
Well, thank you so much for showing up at our festival in Brooklyn, which went rather well, and distributing English muffins, because I once used to read English muffin ads on this podcast that were strangely sexual, I would argue, in the writing, but I did not hide that in the tone. So thank you for yes-ending that bit with a broken ankle.
Of course. Yeah, if I knew I had a broken ankle, I would have maybe not walked that day. But,
I don't know that you shouldn't have been doing that. You shouldn't have been doing that with a broken ankle.
No. But, I'm all fixed up now pretty much. It just hurts sometimes when I'm a little bit extra
do you still go
physical
bouldering?
Activity.
Do you go bouldering anymore?
I do, but only very occasionally, and I don't always go to the top of a route anymore because I didn't used to be afraid of falling, but after having it take me out for 8 months, I'm a little afraid of falling now. Because I don't want to go through that again.
I'll tell you, bouldering and rock climbing are on a list of certain activities I have where I go, I do not understand at all what's fun about them or why anyone wants to do them. Like, I can't imagine the reward you get from successful bouldering is worth you destroying your ankle in the way that it happened. I put this up here with skiing. Skiing is one of the number one activities where I go, so many people I know enjoy it and say it's fun. And there is not a world in which I understand why you'd want to be in the freezing cold and fling yourself down a mountain at high speeds. Like, everything about the basic description of it sounds completely unfun and unnecessary to me. And I put rock climbing up there. The number one people, I think, who have taken this to its limits, these free soloing people who wear no safety equipment and then go do these insane climbs. Those people are the most selfish people on planet Earth. Free soloing people want all this glory for doing a thing. What if I'm just passing through and visiting a national park with my family that day? And now I have to worry that someone's going to, my child is going to see someone fall off a mountain and die because they don't want to hook into a carabiner. I find it to be so bafflingly not worth any of the risk. So I'm not saying you deserve to have that ankle broken for bouldering. I'm just saying stories like yours are why I go, I don't have any desire to ever climb a rock. There's not a part of me on any level. Like, anybody out there who's like, oh no, but like you could push yourself beyond your limits. So what? Who cares? Or people are like, like you can commune with nature in a way that also allows you to conquer nature and feel both connected to it and in control of it. Okay, that's all in your head. No, there's nothing good about bouldering. No one will convince me. And in the comment section, you're welcome to try. None of it. There's not a thing you can say about climbing a rock that's going to convince me it's worth my time.
Yeah, definitely heard. I'll say for my part, before my fall, whenever I saw someone like at the gym fall, I would just think, oh, that's never going to be me. Like, I do it safely. I'm fine. I'm good. And I did ultimately fall and screw it up worse than most. So I definitely get that, but I also love it. And so I keep going back. I'm still working over the fear, but I plan to get over the fear and to do it more. And if Florida had more climbing gyms with ropes, I would use ropes, but we just have a lot of bouldering gyms. So that's what there is.
See, you say you see people fall and you go, that'll never be me. I do it safely. The second I see someone fall, I go, absolutely, that's going to happen to me, but worse. I don't know what that says about our different approaches to life.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that I have definitely been on the extreme end for a while. Like, you know, people have joked, my greatest fear is needles, but I swim with sharks. But I do feel like the fall has toggled me a little bit closer to the midsection, but I still am like going out and doing the things. But I do try to do them safely and think through the safety things as much as I can. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
What's your gut instinct on how this date's going to go tomorrow?
I'm always just like cautious in having any hopes before I meet somebody, because I don't know. I've never met anyone who's stuck. So I think that I have, part of it is just like, I am very independent and I like my life. So I'm looking for someone who enhances, and maybe one date's not enough to tell, but maybe I just don't want to spend more time if I can't get a good vibe right from the start. So I don't know. I try to get out of my way, but I know I'm in my way.
I think that's okay too, though. Because,
yeah,
you know, I've been joking with you a bunch this call, but I also think there's something said for that consistent feeling of like, maybe I'm the one getting in my own way. I think there's also something said for, well, that's probably in some ways an instinct or a defense mechanism or whatever you want to call it. When you meet the person that helps you adjust that behavior and stay out of your own way, that will be because you met the person who was worth whatever risk that entails.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not beat yourself up about, oh, am I getting in my own way? If you're getting in your own way, it's because you're following your instincts that this relationship isn't right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I know I follow in my mom's tracks too, because even she like married my dad, and then he was in the army and he came back and she was like, what? You live here? You know, we're very independent women in my family. But I also, you know, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have someone at some point, but I'm just not going to settle. I don't know if that's the right word, but
no, you can't. Life is too short.
Yeah.
Life's too short to settle, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
We only have a few minutes left.
Oh, wow. Time's been flying. It's late.
Yeah. Anything else that you feel like the world needs to know that we haven't gotten to yet?
Well, I'll share this because I'm very proud of it. But so I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I don't know how much time we have, but I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and I've been hosting watch parties for the season that we just had. And for the finale last weekend, I actually put a note on my door that said, "Come find me," and recorded a cheesy little video of myself acting like an alien was chasing me, and that, like, you guys have to come find me. I'll send you my coordinates. And then I snuck around the downtown of my town, and I hid clues for them, and then they were like taking the wrong route, and I had to sneak around cars, and at one point like stood up in a cloak and dropped their next clue, and then ran off and handcuffed myself to like the stage in the park and waited for them to come find me and stuff. Like, just sent them on a whole adventure. It was incredibly fun, and I'm just glad to have friends that indulge that sort of chaos that I just randomly decide to throw at them.
Doctor Who is one of those things that I get the sense that if I knew more about it, I would really love it. And that I'm pretty lucky that I've never gone down the rabbit hole, because I know some people have gone really far down the rabbit hole. All I really know is that a number of actors have played Doctor Who. It's been running for decades, and it involves something with phone booths and time travel. That's the extent of what I know.
Yeah. I mean,
TARDIS? Is TARDIS the name of the phone booth?
Yeah, and I actually have a closet in my house. I keep my scuba gear in it, and it's painted as the TARDIS. But I grew up watching this show. It's my favorite show. But I love monster movies, and that's essentially what it is. Each week is like, it's a new monster. So it's just so fun. How
often, I'm going to also warn you, scuba diving, it's right up there with rock climbing and skiing. I don't get why you want to go that far under the water. Why you want to go so far that you can't swim up if something goes wrong. No thanks. There's nothing fun about it. I can't imagine one fun thing about scuba diving, right or wrong.
No. There's so much. The fish, man. They're so cool, and they're so chill.
You could see them snorkeling.
No, not the same way, and not as up close. And like, they play with you sometimes when you're diving too. And I mean, I bring my GoPro every time, and I like collect seeing new fish species, like like collecting Pokemon. It's so much fun.
But what about, you could go to an aquarium and be dry and there's air conditioning?
No, part of the thrill is just like jumping in the water and being in there with them. It's so fun, and it's also peaceful. You don't have to talk or anything.
I also think just in general, I'm not fun. I think in general, I don't like fun. I think that's one of my big defining qualities in life. I don't like doing fun things. They're usually dangerous, physically and or emotionally.
Well, there's non-dangerous fun things. What have you done for fun lately?
I recently ordered the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books from the 80s, the black and white ones, and I've been reading them with my son.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah.
I love settling down with a good book.
My feet stay on the ground. My body stays dry.
Yeah. That's good.
We have 1 minute left.
Oh, man.
And then we shall go behind the paywall for 5 questions at beautifulanonymous.com. Right.
Oh, goodness. I don't know what to do with 1 more minute. Maybe I can ask you, do you have like a favorite thing to bake? I have to bake something for a party soon. I'd have no idea what to do.
I'm not much of a baker. I try to cook from time to time, but everything's really basic with me. But I'm not much of a baker. I will tell you, my wife makes very good ginger molasses cookies, and I'm always psyched when she makes them. She makes them like once every 2 years.
Are they complicated?
I don't get the sense that they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll try that out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big kitchen person, so.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
It's time for us to say goodbye to everybody on the free feed, both to you, the caller, and to Charlie, the bearded dragon.
All right. See you guys.
Caller, thank you so much for calling up, being honest, letting us know who you are, where you're at, and also where that lizard is at. Sincerely, thank you. And thank you to Andrea Quinn for producing the show. Thank you to Shellshag for the theme music. Thanks to all of you for listening. If you want to know more about me and my upcoming shows, punchup.live/Chris Gethard. That includes that show hosted by Chris Gethard, which is the variety show I'm doing lately and really, really like. We are on Facebook at Beautiful Anonymous, the community. We have a TikTok that we never update. We're also on Instagram. Come find us. Thanks so much. Tell the world we're out here. If you love the show, tell a few friends. Thanks, everybody. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
I've seen a celebrity before, and I just turned and was like, oh, hello. I didn't even say hello, just in my head did, and kept walking. So.
What celebrity was that?
Jesse Eisenberg in New York.
All right. That is kind of the perfect celebrity to see internally say hello, say nothing out loud, and keep walking. For some reason, Jesse Eisenberg's the perfect celebrity to have that exact encounter with. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.